Hello friends, and welcome to the month of October. October is among one of my favorite months because in Mississippi, it's the month where it finally starts to feel like fall, albeit a little bit later into October, but it's the month we want to snuggle up. It's the month of spooky, it's the month of Halloween, it's the month of pumpkin spice lattes, and it's the month of my fall break, which is like a whole week to just relax and read, which, oh, I cannot wait. But you may have noticed I did not play Battleship TBR in September, and that was because I was on bed rest for the full half of the first part of the month. Man, I found out that I have scoliosis, spinal stenosis, bulging discs in my back, and was sent home with a diagnosis of a sprain, and I've been on medication and going to physical therapy ever since. So Battleship TBR just did not fit into the game plan for September, and as I had a whole month to kind of sit back and reflect, I realized that I needed to make a couple of changes to Battleship in order for it to be an efficient way for me to build a TBR but still like have fun reading. And so while there's still punishments, there's still mines, I've just simplified the game a little bit so that I'm still picking books. I still have like a punishment if something goes wrong, but it's not as much busy work on my end to still get to play the game each month. So you're not gonna notice that many differences. I'm not pulling anything from comments right now. However, in the new year, there will be a way for you to still submit something for me during Battleship TBR. But for the rest of 2025, we're just gonna kind of vibe with Battleship. If I don't finish my TBR, I'll put a mine on the board. If I do finish my TBR, I won't, and you'll notice that the prompts are now written on the boats. I have a big plan for 2026 that I'm going to make a nice board on Canva and get it professionally printed so that it looks really nice and eye-catching, and manipulating the boats looks a whole lot more even and you can see what is where. So that's a big goal for me. I need to really work on designing that board, and maybe I'll even have it available for you guys. I don't know. These are just ideas swirling in my brain. But what I really want to do right now is pick some books. I'm participating in Halloweekend with Lexi over at Books with Lexi. This is a month-long readathon, but it only takes place on the weekend, thus Halloweekend. And we will be sprinting together Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as well as playing through a spooky game board. So I'm really hoping I get some books that fit the theme and vibe for the different rooms on the game board. And I think it's gonna be so much fun to just spend October spooky season with friends on sprints, laughing, having a good time, and reading books. But without further ado, let's get into gameplay. Okay, you can see the new board and you can see that prompts are now written on the battleships. This is just going to make my life way easier. And even though this is kind of a start from scratch month, I am still going to place a mine just randomly this time because I didn't finish my TBR last time I played the game. First prompt is C9. There is nothing on C9. F10. I covered my bases over on the 10s as much as possible, and I put that one in the wrong spot. There we go. But F10 is a book box pick. The first prompt we got was a book from a book box, and I actually have a few unread Aardvark and Book of the Month books, but I have picked Too Old for This by Samantha Downing, and the only thing I know about this is we have a retired serial killer that needs to come out of retirement. I got this from Aardvark a couple months ago. My friend Liv over at Liv's Library read this and recommended it, so I'm very excited to read something that's a little bit in the vein of Thursday Murder Club, but make her the like former bad guy. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a really, really, really good time. Book number 2, H5. We got Fire or Water on the cover. Book 2 was Fire or Water on the cover, and when I made that prompt, I definitely had fantasy in mind. However, I have a book I'm really excited to get to, and that is Our Last Resort. Sorry, it does have a glossy cover, but Our Last Resort by Clemence Michelon. This is the author that wrote The Quiet Tenant, which was a literary thriller that I really enjoyed a few years ago. She comes to Mississippi Book Fest when she has a new release, and this year was no different. I went and I heard her speak on her panel, and she is so eloquent, and I enjoy listening to the process that she uses behind writing her books. This one is about two siblings, and I use that term loosely because they're not really related, but they grew up in the same cult where everybody was each other's sibling according to the rules of the cult, and they get out and they go to a resort where somebody dies, and this is not the first time somebody has died in one of our characters' presence. So thus we have a murder mystery investigation opening up, and it is dual timeline with the present day murder at the resort, as well as past timeline visiting these two while they were in the clutches of the cult. And I've heard good things about it. I loved The Quiet Tenant. The writing was beautiful while the plot was like stimulating and engaging and terrifying, to be quite honest. And so I have high hopes that this one also will follow in its footsteps. Book number 3, C3. P-O. Oh my gosh, this is working out so nice for me this month. C3, that's C2. C3 is a book with blue on the cover. My blue book is one of my most anticipated books of the whole year, and that is Soul Searching by Lila Sage. This is the author that wrote the Rebel Blue Ranch series, Done and Dusted, Swift and Saddled. You know the covers. And this is her new book that comes out September 30th, so literally 2 days from right now, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. This is about an upholsterer and a photographer in a small town, and our main female character also talks to ghosts. So we've got the romance and the tension and the yearning that Lila Sage writes so well as a spooky small town paranormal aspect, and it's set in the mountains. Like, everything about this book sounds like it is going to work for me. I am going to be so sad if there's something about this book I don't like, but I just can't see it going in that direction. Not only that, but we are reading this over at Mel and Cassidy's shared book club, the Not So Indie Archive, and I'm excited to read and just like yap with friends while I read it. I'm so stinking excited. Book number 4, F8. All right, there's nothing on F8. E9. I think y'all can see that one is a little bit uneven, and when I remake my board, we are gonna do better. But E9, I believe, is red. Okay, my red book is a little bit of a stretch, but I think when y'all see what it is, you're going to agree with me that I should be able to read it, because this is the spine, like pure red, right? And then we've got a focal point of red on the cover, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. When I say that this is probably the book I have been the most influenced to pick up because of YouTube this year, I mean it. Covers with Cassidy, if you've watched her vlogs over the last several months, I think I've left a comment on every single one where she's reading a Bone Season book and been like, okay, you're convincing me, you're convincing me, you're convincing me. And here she is convincing me. So I don't know much about it, and I don't want to know much about it going into it. I know it's dystopian. I know we're following our main character. I believe her name is Paige, and she is a clairvoyant in like a future London where things have fallen to dystopia, honestly, obviously. And clairvoyancy is outlawed. And so she joins like a rebellion, maybe, question mark. I don't know. I'm really just saying things, but I have heard nothing but good things. Y'all can see that she's a chunker, and that's why I have a fall break, so that I can read chunky books like this with no guilt, no falling asleep at night. And oh my gosh, I've just like, I've had this for a month waiting for the perfect time to pick it up. And so Battleship TBR said yes, fall break said yes, October is the month. Do we really only have one more to do? Unless this thing hits me with something crazy. G6. All right, there's nothing on G6. I9. There is nothing on I9. I get one more blank space before something bad happens. G10. G10 is an even number of pages, and that's it. We got 5 books. That was ridiculously fast and easy this month. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our last book that Battleship picked for us was a book that ends in an even number of pages. This was also very lucky on my end because my Patreon book club pick this month is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, and this book has, I believe, was it 322? Why is this book so short? This book has 322 pages. I'm gonna fly through it. This is an urban set fantasy where our main character takes this course in like magic and cinema and then has 24 hours to find an artifact. Again, I'm trying so hard to go into books a little bit more blind, so I'm not anticipating all of these details and plot points happening along the way. Stephanie Garber wrote Carval, and she wrote Once Upon a Broken Heart, which were 2 series I enjoyed the ideas of, but they just were like executed a little bit more on the YA side than I was interested in reading. So the whimsy and the charm in an adult book written by Stephanie Garber October, I think it's gonna work perfectly for me. I know people have their gripes with book of the month lately, but I always say, like, y'all gotta listen. I'm a teacher, I make no money, and book of the month makes it very affordable for me to get new release hardcovers. And while sprayed edges don't like instantly make me want to buy a book, I do have to point out it's got sprayed edges that aren't necessarily perfect, but they are sprayed edges. And I mean, I'm grateful to have an affordable hardcover book, and that's just the way it is. Okay. Now, if I get through my TBR, of course, I want to leave the world open to mood read for myself, but I wanted to kind of show you a little pile of possibilities of other things I could read. Neither of my in-person book clubs have picked their next book yet, so obviously those are on the table. One of them does themed picks, so I probably could pick a book out of my stack that will fit a theme, but my other book club has not announced our book yet, so who knows what it'll be. But some other possibilities, we have Arlie Wallace's The Late Night Witches. I mean, come on. What about the cover of this book does not scream October? My friend Alexis gifted this to me for my birthday, and I am so very grateful. I will leave her channel down in the comments, as well as Cassidy, who influenced me to read The Bone Season. But this is a book about family and about slaying vampires at Halloween. Yep. We also have one of my favorite authors' new release, that is Rebecca Ross and Wild Reverence. This is set in the same world as Divine Rivals, but features a relationship between a goddess and a mortal, and I think there's some sort of communication with dreams. I've heard very good things about this, but I have heard more mixed opinions on this than any of her other newer releases. My favorite duology of all time is A Fire Endless and A River Enchanted. I love those books with all of my heart, so I'm hoping for the same beautiful, delectable writing, relationships between the characters, a focus on fantasy and prose before the romance, and we'll see if this lives up to my expectations. I also read the book Raybearer last month by Jordan Afueco, which is about a young girl who is tasked with a mission to join the prince's council and then is commanded to kill him, and all of the inner conflict and outer conflict that comes with that command. And so since I finished it and really enjoyed it, I would love to just finish off the duology with Redemptor, also by Jordan Afueco, obviously, and see where this takes our main character, Terasai. The first book was so rich and lush. Even though it was YA, it felt like an adult book without all of the adult themes in it. And I think that she is a very powerful master class storyteller, so I can't wait to see what she does with the world, the magic, the politics, and of course Terasai's journey in Redemptor. And then the last book on my pile of possibilities, gotta throw in a classic Grady Hendrix horror. I have not read My Best Friend's Exorcism yet. I'm not gonna read the back. I just know that this is about a person's best friend's exorcism, and I think it will be great to read at Halloween. All right, so I want to know what you are reading for spooky season. Are you more in the mood to be cozy? Are you more in the mood to be creeped out? Or do you just want to stick with your normal genre and say, to heck with the season, I don't care? Let me know. And if you watched all the way to the end of the video and you don't know what emoji to leave me, I think the ghosts back here are saying to drop a ghost in the comments. If you're interested in supporting my channel in any other way, links to my social media and my Patreon are down below. And I love you so much. Have a great day, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye, guys.